Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. The translation reads like this: Brother Nashi, I came here to South Africa like a very long time ago. I came with my own sister. So the challenge that we faced was that our auntie, who had called us from Zim, even though she was staying in a full RDP, but the way that she started treating us, it was as if she wanted us to be prostitutes. She would complain whenever she would return back from the place where she was working on the farms, and she'll be like, why are we going to eat? Sometimes we would cook pap and eggs, and she will complain, saying that women like you end up cooking pap and eggs, as if you do not have any man that is coming here saying that they want to take care of you, but yet you refuse, saying that you do not want to date this man. So what are you doing really? So our auntie was like that when she saw that we did not want to do like what one of him other daughter was doing, like selling herself to different men. One man will bring a loaf of bread, another one will bring tweezer, and I said I'm not going to sleep with a man simply because that man has bought for me a 2 liters of tweezer. What is that? And she said that it means that you do not want to cooperate, so it is far much better that you girls look for somewhere to stay and somewhere to work. So she kicked us out. This was after this other man had came, and the man told my auntie that he wanted to make me his wife and he had some money. And I said, no, I don't want this man because already he is his wife that just left for Zim. I don't want to be in that situation. She said, it is fine. You can go somewhere and find somewhere to stay. Lucky enough, my sister had made friends with this other woman who was working for this other lady who had a small restaurant. That is how we started working at different restaurants. So I started working for this other South African couple. So this family, they do have a restaurant here in Johannesburg. Please hear me when I am talking about this issue. It is not only foreign-owned spaza shops that do this business of selling expired good. Let me tell you about my boss and his wife. He also own several spaza shops around Joburg. Sometimes he did some partnerships with Somalians or Ethiopians where they will end up doing some tuck shop business together. So what they do is that it's not like they do not know where to get products that are not expired. But what my boss's wife said, it is all about making more money, because if you try to compete with big shops like ShopRite buying things that have a good expiry date, it means that the goods are expensive. Rather, they can even go to an original factory, then they deal with other people that are working in the inside. They will be given some items that are almost expired, and they'll say that this thing, since maybe it is going to expire like next week, let us take it and we sell it at a cheaper price. But things will go wrong, and when the product is not sold in time, for them to throw it away, it will be something that will be like a loss to them. Then they'll end up leaving the canned fish, the canned beans in the spaza shops. This is what my boss was doing as well, but nothing prepared for me what happened like last month. My boss started trusting me a lot because of the way that I work. My boss started to show me the other side. They also do these rituals. I don't know if they did the Ukutwala rituals or not, but my boss called me to work one Sunday morning, so we usually do not open the restaurant on Sunday. I was feeling even bored when I asked other girls that I work with if they had been called by my boss, and they were like, no. And then I told them that I am going to work. They said, you can go, but as you know that you're not going to get paid, why didn't you just give him a reason and say that I can't come because I am going to church? Unfortunately, I had already made an appointment with the boss, and then I went to town. When I arrived there, it was him, his daughter, and his wife. they had a lot of beef that they had bought. So I knew that this was the beef that we were going to sell the next Monday morning. To my surprise, my boss went to the car and returned back with a dead rat. It was a rat that my boss's wife chopped up and mixed with the beef stew just when we were about to take it from the gas stove. That was when he started putting the meat of that rat that they had chopped up, and they prepared the stew and we left it there. As for some of the beef and the pap, sometimes you can cook a lot of pap thinking that maybe people are going to come, like what happened during the month end. A lot of people came and we cooked a lot of food, the pap and some stew, and it was not finished. This is what we always did, to recook that food to make it look like it is fresh, to put bicarbonate of soda so that it won't go bad and it can be cooked quickly. But this will make someone who would have eaten the pap and that beef stew to start having a running stomach. But I did not even know that my boss was doing all of these rituals. So I started returning back to the past. There was this other time when my boss told me that she wanted me to go with her daughter to Durban. I want other people to help me here. Does this even make sense at all? I am thinking about even quitting at the end of this week because I am scared to work for people that are doing all of these rituals. It was last year. The water had run out. I will never forget that day when we tried to cook and we saw that there was no water. So he then went and he bought some water. But the next day, it was on 14 December, that was when my boss lady told me that I was supposed to go with her daughter to Durban. Does it even make sense that me and my boss's daughter, we traveled to Durban from Joburg just to collect 5 liters of water at a river? And when we got to Durban, then we slept early in the morning. She woke me up around 4 a.m. and she drove with me. She did not want to get out of the car, and she told me what I was supposed to do, to go and collect water from this other river, in which I was not born and raised in Durban. I don't know the place as such. It was even my first time to go to Durban. So then she said, I want you to go and collect the water. I went to the river. I collected a full 5 liters of water, then put it in the boot, and she said, are you sure that it is tied? And I said, yes. She even got out of the car. She was not trusting me, and she took the water and she brought it back into the vehicle. She drove all the way from Durban, just checking that water, if it was not getting spilled over. This did not make sense. We traveled almost 1,000 k without resting, and just to collect 5 liters of water. I have been asking myself all of these things now. Does it make sense to go to Durban and collect 5 liters of water? You know what we did when we returned back? When we returned back, then whenever we would be cooking, we did not finish this water all in one day. We used it from 15 December up until 30 December when it was finished. People used to come, some that will be drunk from the locations, just to buy pap and steak, sometimes papa and faros. Then they will return back to the location. Now when I come to think of it, I can see that this was what our boss and his wife was always doing. So I do not want to work at that restaurant anymore. My warning to your listeners is, just make sure that in each and everything that you do, just make sure that at the place where you are eating, it is a safe place. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister right there. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world.